evening where we're going to celebrate his life. We're going to celebrate his enduring legacy and unwavering service as a true American icon. Right in South Los Angeles at the historic First AME Church located at 2270 South Harvard Boulevard here in Los Angeles. Tonight, Friday, February 27th. Join a number of civic leaders, elected officials, faith leaders. You know the KBLA delegation is going to be rolling in very, very strong. And there are going to be a number of very honorable folks paying honor to the Reverend Jesse L. Jackson Sr., including Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, the Honorable Maxine Waters, United Farm Workers activist leader Dolores Huerta is going to be there, along with our very own Tavis Smiley and Dr. Cornel West, among so many other luminaries will be in the room to pay tribute. It's the place you want to be if you're in LA. And so for everybody who's in town for the NAACP Image Awards, pull up, come through. Also, in this moment, we're all reflecting on the Reverend Jesse L. Jackson Sr., who is lying in state today at Rainbow Push. This is the second day of him lying in state at Rainbow Push. And so if you're in Chicago, you are invited. You are invited to come by and pay your respects at Rainbow Push, where the Reverend is lying in state. I've seen some of the video on the internet. I've seen some of the photographs of what's taking place there, and I've got to say it is a remarkable scene to see so many folks paying their respects to someone who means so much to so many of us, not just in the Black community, but communities everywhere. And so our thoughts and prayers are with the Jackson family as they lay Reverend Jackson to rest. And so let me give you a sense of what we have planned for you on today's show. In our second hour, you can expect a conversation with me and Gina Towns, the executive producer of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show, but she's also the president and CEO of 519 Productions. And she is an author and she is a friend. And we have much to discuss, much to process. This has been quite a week for our country. And so we'll be talking with her in short order. And then a little bit later in that second hour, we're going to be talking with Ted Williams. He is an educator, an actor, and author who teaches political science at the City Colleges of Chicago. He is someone who is no stranger to the screen, and he's no stranger to seminary. And so we're going to be celebrating Black History Month along with Mr. Ted Williams. But when we come forward, you don't want to miss my conversation with Reverend Dr. Michael C.R. Nabors. He's a senior pastor of the historic Second Baptist Church in Evanston, Illinois. Yes, the church that's over 140 years old, one of the oldest African-American congregations on the North Shore. We'll be talking with him when we come forward, and a little bit later, Nicholas Wiggins from the NAACP. You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm your guest host, Dr. Nicordelai Corte. More when we come forward.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu, the daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is dedicated to inspiring youth and resilience through storytelling, arts, filmmaking, and enrichment programs for youth and families in under-resourced communities and system-impacted individuals. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit providing free and low-cost arts programs to youth and families from under-resourced communities, both system-impacted youth and those affected by the incarceration of a loved one. 1 in 43 children in America have a parent incarcerated. 70% of those children are expected to end up in prison. Through filmmaking, animation, theater, and writing, they help young people express themselves, build confidence, and imagine new possibilities. Beyond the arts, they offer financial literacy workshops, emergency support, and scholarships. Because thriving takes more than talent, it takes access. To learn more about the impact of Michael Daughters Foundation and how you can be a part of the movement, please visit their website, michaelsdaughterfoundation.com. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the need. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the need. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
I don't know about you, but I'm totally digging the theme song here. I'm Dr. Nicordelai Corte, your guest host, in for our friend and brother Jesse Jackson Jr. And I'm really delighted to welcome Reverend Dr. Michael C.R. Nabors. He's a senior pastor of the historic Second Baptist Church in Evanston, Illinois. It is a church that has very deep roots in the community. It's over 140 years old. It's one of the oldest African-American congregations on the North Shore. And since arriving at Second Baptist Church, Dr. Nabors has really sought to continue leading the church into its historical role as a trumpeter for Christ and as a social justice advocate in Evanston and the Metro Chicago area. In case you didn't know, recently Second Baptist Church has become a leading faith center in America and facilitating race talk solidarity circles in local communities. Welcome to the show, Dr. Nabors.
Dr. Corey, thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here and continuing to lift up our prayers for the family of Jesse Jackson, including Jesse Jackson Jr.
Absolutely, absolutely. Uh, Dr. Nabors, tell us, where were you when you learned of the passing of Reverend Jackson?
So, Dr. Corey, I was at home and I got a call from a local news station at about 5:30 on last Tuesday morning, and they shared the news with me that Reverend Jackson had passed, and asked me if I would be willing to come on their program to offer a few words about an hour later. So I went on a local news television show at about 6:15, and that's when I got the news then, and then I was up and about very shortly afterwards.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you certainly are no stranger to Reverend Jackson or the family. Talk about how you got involved with some of the work of Reverend Jackson, or just how you've been inspired by him, particularly as a young theologian, as a young activist.
Yeah, Dr. Corey, I can go back a long ways, and obviously, the Reverend Jackson was about 20 years older than me. So when I felt my call to ministry while I was between high school and college, he was one of the folks that I looked up to. He was a bright and shining star. He was a model of excellence. He had this tremendous capacity at being able to intersect between an older generation and a new generation. And that's one of the things that really impressed me the most. I mean, not only did he have the same kind of ilk and substance as Dr. King or Malcolm X or Ralph Abernathy or Andrew Young, but he also had that youthful vibe from the 70s. And that youthful vibe was, man, that was Marvin Gaye, that was the Temptations, that was Curtis Mayfield in Chicago. And I just love that he was able to connect it. I think the first time that I may have ever heard him was a Watt Stacks concert that was held in Los Angeles, California, probably around 1970 or 1971, and I must have been 8 or 9 years old. I love the entire concert, but when Jesse came on talking about "I Am Somebody," man, I think I raised my fist as a 9 or 10 year old, and that went straight to my soul.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's incredible. What an incredible memory that you get to carry with you. It's been really a delight to be in conversation with folks across generations who have been moved, whose conscience has risen because of the work and witness of Reverend Jackson. Part of that work and witness has been around bringing people together. And bringing folks together of different walks of life. That really seems to be one of the hallmarks of Reverend Jackson's ministry. It also is a part of what makes him a cut above the rest in terms of really being a trailblazer, really summoning the courage to say many of the quiet parts out loud before they were popular. Is there anything in particular that stands out to you in terms of Reverend Jackson's social justice ministry that sort of blew your hair back in the early days?
Yeah, I think in the early days when Reverend Jackson first formed Rainbow Coalition, I thought it was a beautiful name. I was still very, very young. But what I loved about the Rainbow Coalition and the concept that he created was that it was moving. It was focused on civil rights, but it was moving from civil rights to human rights. And the human rights aspect included all people that were suffering from oppression, all people that were suffering from any form of discrimination. So it wasn't just racism, it was very, very inclusive. And I just thought that that's one of the things that stood out. And then when I was maybe in my first year of seminary, this is 1982 or 83, I was in Princeton, New Jersey, and I was at a church where another minister was involved, M. William Howard. And M. William Howard was asked by Reverend Jackson to accompany his negotiating team to Syria to negotiate the release of Lieutenant Robert Goodman Jr. And man, so I'm 21 or 22 years old, and I'm looking at this Baptist preacher on the world stage who was encouraged not to go by Ronald Reagan, by the way, but who went over and negotiated the release of a brother whose plane was shot down over Syria. And that made me think that the potential for ministry is absolutely much wider than inside of a local church.
I mean, that's so incredible. And I've never heard anybody sort of share the story behind that story in the way that you just shared it. The idea that one's ministry could land on the world stage in that way, that the social justice ministry of a Black man in America could land on the world stage in that way. Talk to us about how infectious that was for other preachers and activists at the time.
Yeah, well, I think it was an inspiration for all Black ministers. No matter what the denomination, no matter what the background, we were all inspired, and not just out of the Christian faith, but there were Muslim imams who were equally inspired by what Jesse was able to do. He was negotiating with folks who were Muslim, right? So, I mean, it's just incredible that the span and the largesse that he had in terms of not only his intelligence, but he was led by his faith, man. It was his faith that convinced him that he had the abilities that God had given him to do some extraordinary things. So for folks who were in my age category as young ministers, we were inspired. The first thing I did was join the NAACP. I was like, okay, it's got to be more than just a local church. First Baptist Church of Princeton is where I was. It's got to be something more than that. And I've been involved with the NAACP now for well over 40 years. Yeah.
We're going to talk about your work with the NAACP in short order. But before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit about the sort of race talk solidarity circles that you've been doing in Evanston and other local communities. I want to draw a direct line between the inspiration, as you put it, the inspiration that you and so many other young preachers experienced watching Reverend Jackson grow in his ministry, grow in his activism, grow as a world leader. I want to draw a direct line between your witness of that and your work right now in Evanston and beyond in terms of facilitating these race talk solidarity circles.
Yeah, Dr. Cordery, absolutely. So with Jesse Jackson being the model for excellence in terms of his ability to communicate ideas of social justice, ideas of civil rights, beyond just the traditional understanding of that from the sort of Black religious context, was a model for all of us. And for me, starting the Race Talk Solidarity Circles in Evanston, I knew that it was going to be very important for our community, which at the very same time became the first community in the nation to have a fully paid reparations program, Evanston Reparations. I knew it was going to be important for Black, white, and other folks to begin to relate to each other in a more personal way. So it's not just, we're going to give you money and everything is going to be a way. No, we need to develop relationships. And those relationships need to sort of turn into economic development programs. We need to figure out how we can diminish this increasing wealth gap between Blacks and whites. And so we took all of that on in these race talk circles where we reached out to over 15 congregations that were white in Evanston. And we had small group discussions over a period of a year and a half. Those discussion groups were about 10 to 12. And we came away with the idea of eliminating racism and supporting reparations. And man, you know what those churches did? They raised $1 million in 6 months to contribute to our reparations program. We started a nonprofit program called Reparation Stakeholders Authority of Evanston. So it's not the same as the city, which is getting their money from taxation on cannabis sales. But we started our own so that Black people will always be in control of funding that comes in for reparations. And that money is continuing to grow. And we're starting a plan to give that money out to Black churches in Evanston.
I mean, I think that's incredible. I mean, the show that I host on KBLA from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern, is called A More Perfect Union. And every day, we like to feature leaders like yourself on the front lines that are doing the heavy lifting, that are reimagining what may otherwise look impossible. Dare I say, that are leaning into radical imagination. And when I think of Evanston, I not just think of my family. One of my older brothers, sister-in-law, and nephew live in Evanston.
Oh my goodness! You got to send them to the church, man. Now, have them visit.
I'll put in a word for you, Reverend. So I don't only think of them, but I think of how Evanston has really become a model for the nation and for the world in terms of what repair can look like. When you discover, that there's been a breach in the trust, there's been a breach in community, there's been a breach in doing right by your neighbors and their descendants. The question then becomes, well, what do you do? What do you do with that? And through the leadership of Second Baptist Church, the leadership of this reparation stakeholders group, and so many other stakeholders, you all have been a powerful demonstration to the world. Do you feel that way? Do you feel that you all have been a powerful demonstration to the world on reparations?
Well, yeah, Doctor. So, just this week, the Samuel DeWitt Proctor Conference was going on in Chicago. And on Tuesday, folks from Evanston Reparations were invited down to do a panel discussion during a luncheon where the wonderful Dr. Iva Carruthers was honored for her years of service as the executive director of the Proctor Conference. And we did a panel discussion on Evanston reparations. There were maybe 350 people in the room from all around the country, most of them related to one church or another. And if we didn't think that we were an influence on the world, and we did, but if we didn't think so, the response that we got from that panel discussion was absolutely amazing. Afterwards, folks from cities around the country came to us and said, we want to know how you started. We want you to help us. We want you to come to our city. And I want you to know that since we started Evanston Reparations under the brilliant leadership of Robin Simmons, who was our fearless leader in reparations in Evanston, I've been invited to about 20 different cities and towns around the country to talk to clergy, to talk to folks who are interested in reparations. And some of the craziest places, man, Roanoke, Virginia, Fayetteville, Arkansas, these are predominantly white communities with a small Black section of folks, and they are trying to make right all of the damage that was done due to racism. And you can't do that, Doc. There's not enough money in the world that can repay for the damage that was done to our people because of racism. But talking about it, funding some programs, funding for people that have been harmed is a start.
When we come forward, more with Reverend Dr. Michael C.R. Nabors. He's the senior pastor of the historic Second Baptist Church in Evanston, a church that is a leader among leaders in the faith community when it comes to reparations. When we come forward, we're going to talk more about his NAACP work and connect that to the work that he is continuing to lead. We'll also be joined with Nicholas Wiggins, who is part of the NAACP Image Awards leadership. You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm your guest host, Dr. Nicordelai Corte.
It's Afternoon Drive Time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Thousands gathered in Chicago to honor Reverend Jesse Jackson at Rainbow Push Coalition headquarters. Reverend Al Sharpton and Black Mayor Brandon Johnson joined the Jackson family for the public viewing.
I've seen him stand up against adversity. I've seen him break history.
Services continue before moving to South Carolina and Washington, D.C. An Atlantic journalist says she was removed from a Texas rally for Black Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Elaine Godfrey wrote that she was asked to leave and escorted out by security. Crockett denies her campaign ejected the reporter and claimed Godfrey had been sued for defamation. The Atlantic pushed back, saying Godfrey has never been sued and was in fact removed from the event. And former Shelby County, Tennessee criminal court judge Joe Brown has been removed from the Republican primary ballot for Shelby County mayor. The local GOP rejected his candidacy after the Election Commission initially posted his name. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
It was another rough night for both of LA's NBA teams. The Lakers and Clippers have now lost 3 straight. Somebody named Royce O'Neal hit a three-pointer with 0.9 seconds left in the game to give Phoenix a 113-110 win over the Lakers. O'Neal's game winner ruined a 41-point performance by Luka Doncic. The Clippers had to play Minnesota last night without 2 starters. Kawhi Leonard and John Collins were on the bench with an injury. Minnesota held on for a 94-88 win at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. The Clippers had a horrible night shooting from three-point range. They made only 5 of 22. Grambling State University gave a 2-year contract extension to head football coach Mickey Joseph. The legendary HBCU program was 7-5 last season, the team's best finish since 2017. Joseph is 12-12 in his first 2 seasons at Grambling. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. 10 Toes In serves as a mentorship and domestic violence prevention program. They support, educate, and empower couples during and after incarceration. They assist male returning citizens to re-enter society successfully and to help them maintain a healthy relationship with their romantic partner. They offer a mentorship support group for formerly incarcerated men. 10 Toes In teaches its Intimate Relationships 101 curriculum at male prisons throughout the state of California. They host sister support group meetings for women who are intimately involved with incarcerated and formerly incarcerated men. 10 Toes In is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. To access their services or make a donation, please visit them online at 10toesin.org or find them on Facebook or Instagram. They are healing lives through relationships. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Hi, I'm Tavis Smiley, and I have some news. The room is full. Our founding members cohort on the art of conversation has begun, and I could not be more energized by the professionals who said yes to mastering the craft. Their dedication to curating great conversations reminds me why I do this work. Now, if you wanted to join us and did not make it in time, I want you to hear this. The next cohort is coming. I do not have the firm dates yet, but I do have a waiting list. And everyone on that list will receive early access and special discounts when enrollment opens. After almost 40 years of interviewing world leaders and cultural icons, I am teaching everything I know. Don't miss your chance to be in the next room. Go to TavisTalks.com and get on the waiting list right now. That's TavisTalks.com. The conversation continues. Will you be part of it?
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with the world. African Focus Incorporated is a community-based organization whose mission is to bring Africans and African Americans together, lead charitable initiatives on the motherland, and educate people from all walks of life on the beauty, legacy, and opportunity of Africa's 54 nations. And it's that time once again when African Focus is teaming up with KBLA Talk 1580 for our 8th annual African Focus Trailblazers Tour. Travel with us in 2026 when we're headed to the Southern African nations of Zambia and Botswana for a historical, cultural, and vacation tour led by me, Dominique DePrima, Cultural Ambassador for African Focus Incorporated. Enjoy luxurious accommodations, conscious fellow travelers, shopping, adventures, cultural tours, wildlife safaris, and a giant waterfall, one of the world's 7 wonders, along with a chance to be of service at an orphanage on the continent. Become an AFI trailblazer by exploring the motherland with a nonprofit organization that has members in Africa and America to help roll out the red carpet for you, and together we'll make a difference and have fun doing it. For more information, visit africanfocus.org or call 310-676-7300. That's 310-676-7300 or africanfocus.org. Whether it's stateside or exploring the diaspora, we're with you every step of the way. African Focus and KBLA Talk 1580. Come go with us.
You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA Talk 1580. Download the app.
You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm Dr. Nicolai Corte, your guest host, and really delighted to be in conversation with such an extraordinary leader. I've heard over the years about the work and witness of Reverend Dr. Michael Nabors. But just listening to it, I just find myself just leaning in as you're sharing stories, particularly of how Reverend Jackson has inspired you and so many preachers over the years. Before the break, you were talking about your work with the NAACP, and we'll be joined in short order with another leader of the NAACP, but talk to us about your work over the years with the NAACP. What are you most proud of?
Oh, Dr. Cordery. So I've been involved with NAACP since I was a teenager. And in Kalamazoo, we had a strong branch in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and they involved the ministers. And every year, there would be a benefit basketball game for the NAACP. And they would have the ministers play a group of youngsters at a local basketball court at a junior high school. And I was a part of that. And I was maybe 13 or 14 years old. And it was so cool to see these old ministers who all belong to the NAACP getting whipped every year by these young folks. And that was an inspiration for me. I saw the NAACP as being vibrant, as being active. And by the time I got to seminary and became involved in the church that I would eventually pastor, I became friends with the local president of the Princeton branch, Princeton, New Jersey branch of the NAACP. And she asked me if I would join. I joined. And a year later, I found myself the president of the Princeton branch and held on to that position for several years before relocating to Trenton, New Jersey, where I became the president of the Trenton branch. Very, very active branch, state capital, of course, for New Jersey. And there is where I think I did something that I'm most proud of. And it wasn't just me, obviously, it was the branch. But there was a local person who was trying to start a waste incinerator in the city limits of Trenton. And he was a developer, very, very wealthy. He was able to convince the mayor at that time that this would be lucrative. It would be helpful for folks. It would produce jobs and that sort of thing. And I did my background research on waste incinerators and the association of different forms of cancer and also of extreme asthma and allergies in young children. And so we decided that we would go to the county commission on the night it was going to pass, and everybody thought it was going to pass because it had the encouragement of the mayor and city council members. And I gave a little speech that included everything that I found out about folks that have been sick and dying, and they overwhelmingly defeated it by I think it was 15-1. And so that's something that was done through the auspices of the NAACP branch. We showed up in good number. There were probably 100 of us at that. And so that's probably one of the most proud things that I've done. The second one would be right here in Evanston, of course, and working with the reparations and being involved with reparations, having my hat on as the president of the NAACP. Educating our Black community, educating the overall community about the benefits of our reparations program.
I mean, I think, what is so important about what you just shared, there's so many things that are important, but one that comes to mind, is that you can draw a direct line, again, from, the work that you were a part of, the work that you led in your early years with the NAACP, and the work that continues. When folks say that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice, I can't help but think that as you're sharing your story, about addressing the issue of waste incinerators in the community. Cut to the moment in time that we're living in right now, where we're seeing data centers pop up in communities across the country that are having an adverse effect on the electricity grid, the energy grid in communities, having an adverse effect on access to water in communities. We certainly know that not so far from you in Chicago, we know that there are still folks in Flint, Michigan that do not have clean water. There are folks in Jackson, Mississippi that still don't have clean water. And so, this is not some intellectual exercise, right? Yeah. These are real issues that people are dealing with on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, doctor, that's a brilliant analogy, and I'm glad that you brought up the water issue. I don't want to bypass a significant portion of my life between New Jersey and Evanston was spent in Detroit. So I was in Detroit when the water debacle occurred in Flint, Michigan, where the former governor, Doug Snyder, decided that he would take away Flint's capacity to work with the Detroit Water Authority, which was getting water from the Detroit River, which goes right into the St. Clair Lake. It's one of the best water systems in the United States, by the way. And in order to save a few dollars, he allowed Flint to create its own water system in the Flint River. And the Flint River had the General Motors waste that had been a part of that city for the last 50 years. And that's how that lead got into the water, and that's how people were damaged so badly. So, of course, the NAACP was very involved in that. And, Doc, you might be interested in knowing that we work on 12 to 15 different subcommittees, each branch does. And the strongest committees have always been economic development, education, political, social outreach. But do you know what the strongest subcommittee is now? It's environmental justice and climate control.
I believe it. And I want to invite another NAACP heavy hitter and trailblazer to the show. Nicholas Wiggins is joining us from Los Angeles, where The NAACP Image Awards festivities this weekend are in full swing. Nicholas serves as vice chair of the NAACP Image Awards. We know that the work of the NAACP is critically important. It is all the more relevant. But we also know that telling our stories is an important part of the puzzle, especially as the attention economy grows like gangbusters. I mean, we're not just competing to tell our stories on the silver screen anymore, or on the television screen, but it's on the screen of all these devices that we hold in our hands. Nicholas, welcome to the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
Thank you, Nick Cordelai. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you here. It's a pleasure to have you here along with Reverend Dr. Michael Nabors, another trailblazer who was just talking about some of the work that he's done starting at the NAACP many years ago, work that is still relevant. When we come forward, Nicholas, I want you to talk about the critical importance of telling our stories and celebrating our storytellers. That's what's happening here in Los Angeles at the Image Awards. We want you to give us the full scoop when we come forward. You're listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show.
While you're stuck in traffic, we can at least bring you up to speed on the news of the day. You're listening to Jesse Jackson Jr. only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Getting around LA doesn't have to cost a lot. Metro has fares that fit every budget. 20 free rides for qualified riders through the Life Fare program. Free passes for students with GoPass and affordable options for everyone in between. Wherever you're going, Metro's got you covered. Visit metro.net/fare programs. This Black History Month, we're proud to highlight the diverse team that helps serve Los Angeles every day. At the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, our nearly 12,000-strong workforce reflects the communities we serve. We're hiring for positions in engineering, skilled craft, information technology, fleet services, and more. Are you ready for competitive pay, strong benefits, and a meaningful career that serves millions? Join the team that's building a stronger LA. Learn more at joinladwp.com.
There was a time when I parented out of stress and emotion, until one day I heard my father's voice coming out of me. In that moment of pause, I realized that I was on autopilot, and I decided that I needed to do things differently. I'm Lisanne Basquiat. I'm a legacy healing strategist, and I want you to join me for Your Past is Your Present. It's a virtual workshop on generational healing, and it's happening on March 1st. Sign up today at shapingfreedom.com. Space is limited, and your healing could start right now.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Hi, I'm Tavis Smiley, and I have some news. The room is full. Our founding members cohort on the art of conversation has begun, and I could not be more energized by the professionals who said yes to mastering the craft. Their dedication to curating great conversations reminds me why I do this work. Now, if you wanted to join us and did not make it in time, I want you to hear this. The next cohort is coming. I do not have the firm dates yet, but I do have a waiting list. And everyone on that list will receive early access and special discounts when enrollment opens. After almost 40 years of interviewing world leaders and cultural icons, I am teaching everything I know. Don't miss your chance to be in the next room. Go to TavisTalks.com and get on the waiting list right now. That's TavisTalks.com. The conversation continues. Will you be part of it?
Yeah, man. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. 10 Toes In serves as a mentorship and domestic violence prevention program. They support, educate, and empower couples during and after incarceration. They assist male returning citizens to re-enter society successfully and to help them maintain a healthy relationship with their romantic partner. They offer a mentorship support group for formerly incarcerated men. 10 Toes In teaches its Intimate Relationships 101 curriculum at male prisons throughout the state of California. They host sister support group meetings for women who are intimately involved with incarcerated and formerly incarcerated men. 10 Toes In is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. To access their services or make a donation, please visit them online at 10toesin.org or find them on Facebook or Instagram. They are healing lives through relationships. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Every morning, we rise and shine, make breakfast, and brush away the night's rest. These routines help us start the day off right. Nature-Made vitamins are a simple step in that daily care regimen. Multivitamins with daily essentials, clinically studied probiotics for gut health support, magnesium to help relax the body. Nature-Made is made to care for you every day. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Folly, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the me. Come on and talk with me.
You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm Dr. Nicordelai Corte, your guest host. I'm really delighted to be in conversation this hour with Reverend Dr. Michael Nabors of Second Baptist Church in Evanston, Illinois. Also, Nicholas Wiggins, who is a senior advisor and really vice chair of the NAACP Image Awards. Nicholas, tell us, how you all, how we can expect you all to pay tribute to Reverend Jackson at this year's Image Awards. We know that in past years he's received a number of awards from the Image Awards, including, I believe, the President or Chairman's Award. How will you all be remembering Reverend Jackson this weekend?
Well, again, thank you for having me. And as you know, we are in full swing in Los Angeles here. We are currently having our fashion show. So I broke away from our fashion show and awards luncheon to be a part of this conversation. Reverend Jackson was dear to everyone in this community. And so the tribute will be important. I believe that members of the family will be coming to join us. I can't give you any of the specific details because we don't want to spoil it for the show, but I know that the tribute will be something special.
Yeah. And the NAACP Image Awards is something special. It's a celebration of Black excellence. It's a celebration of stories that are rooted in our community. And it's a celebration of storytellers. Just last night was the Creative Honors. Talk to us about some of the highlights from the Creative Honors.
The Creative Honors is the way that we honor all of our 80 categories because, not all of them make it to the live show. And so we were able to present about 15 categories last night. One of the highlights was, of course, Miss Wunmi Masaku, who came to join us. She presented Ryan Coogler in his absence with his Screenplay Award. But also she won Best Supporting Actress in a motion picture. So maybe that's a good sign for Oscars, though we're rooting for Tiana too and all the nominees.
That's great. And talk to us about just sort of the future of the NAACP Image Awards. We know there's a lot of news about the disruption that we are witnessing in the media industry. Just yesterday, it was announced that Netflix was withdrawing their bid to merge with Warner Brothers Discovery. This sort of seemingly paves the way for Paramount sort of a very hostile takeover to become the winning bid and potentially transform Hollywood as we know it. While we celebrate the storytellers and the important stories that are rooted in our community, we also would be remiss if we didn't highlight NAACP's role in advocating for folks behind the camera and creating opportunities for Black executives and executives of color, content creators, and Black content creators and content creators of color. And so talk to us about some of the work that's afoot after the Image Awards when it comes to continuing that advocacy that seems to be more vital than ever.
Yeah, so the NAACP is really at the forefront of this conversation. The Image Awards is our celebration of Black excellence, and we award it in so many categories across sectors. We also have digital content creation categories, 5 of them, and some of them were awarded last night. But beyond just this week of fun and festivity and celebration, we are working behind the scenes to advocate for those in front of and behind the camera. As you know, the NAACP has a relationship with many studios. We actually have a show, Beyond the Gates, that we now produce, and we are hopeful to greenlight more projects through our relationship with CBS and Paramount.
Reverend Dr. Nabors, while we have you, I want to give you an opportunity to share any fond memories you have of the Image Awards, and connecting the dots between some of the work that continues on the ground and the multiplier effect when it comes to that work, when it's paired with some of the publicity and notoriety that Image Award nominees and winners often afford that work on the ground.
Yeah, thank you. So I want to say, Mr. Wiggins, it's a pleasure to meet you. I have followed your work, and you've done a wonderful job. We have something in common. I was in New Jersey for 17 years, and I know you're a native of New Jersey as well. You were up in the Newark area. I was down in Princeton, but we're all connected, my brother. So it is wonderful to see you continuing to carry the banner and doing it in such an excellent and powerful way. I want you to know that for those of us who are on the front lines, I serve the Evanston branch, and I've served a few other small branches, but in Evanston, we will be having our watch party, brother, on Sunday, and we will be together. I think that we have about 40 people that have signed up and a big screen television. So we're going to be right in the neighborhood, and we're going to have a wonderful time watching that. And I want to say, Dr. Cordery, that for me, the Image Awards produces every year the absolute par excellence, penultimate, powerful representation of Black folks in so many different categories that we would not have if it were not for the Image Awards. We know that we're not respected in some of the other awards programs, and some of those have been an embarrassment, by the way, for many of our Black people who should have won awards, but they didn't. And we're talking about the Oscars and the Emmys and all of that. But we have our own awards program, and it is run through the NAACP, through the excellence of somebody like Nick Wiggins and the work that you've done. And I just want to say I'm very proud of you. And there are millions of people in America, but particularly African Americans and Black folk, that will be tuned in, as we are every single year that the Image Awards are on. We are proud of those folks that are walking on that stage. And for those of you who are behind the scenes, man, it's just good to know you. I'm gonna be very frank with you. Next year, wherever it is, if it's in Los Angeles, I'm gonna have to use my New Jersey connection with you and get some tickets to go to the Image Awards next year with my wife. Yes,
I
Lord.
love it. I love it. I love it. From your mouth to God's ears, and to Nicholas Wiggins' magic dust. Nicholas, real quick, where can people go to watch the NAACP Image Awards?
Well, yes, to find out all the information on Image Awards and all the categories that have already been awarded, go to naacpimageawards.net. And please tune in on Saturday, February 28th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, for what is going to be a wonderful live show celebrating Black excellence. Our theme this year is We See You. We see you in all your excellence and all your great creativity. We see you in everything that you're bringing to the table. And so we're excited.
Well, I'm excited too. I will be at the NAACP Image Awards, and we'll have a full report on Monday as to how everything went. My thanks to my two incredible guests. Thank you to Reverend Dr. Michael Nabors, and also to Nicholas Wiggins. You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. More when we come forward in our next hour.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. Thousands gathered in Chicago to honor Reverend Jesse Jackson at Rainbow Push Coalition headquarters. Reverend Al Sharpton and Black Mayor Brandon Johnson joined the Jackson family for the public viewing.
I've seen him stand up against adversity. I've seen him break history.
Services continue before moving to South Carolina and Washington, D.C. An Atlantic journalist says she was removed from a Texas rally for Black Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Elaine Godfrey wrote that she was asked to leave and escorted out by security. Crockett denies her campaign ejected the reporter and claimed Godfrey had been sued for defamation. The Atlantic pushed back, saying Godfrey has never been sued and was in fact removed from the event. And former Shelby County, Tennessee criminal court judge Joe Brown has been removed from the Republican primary ballot for Shelby County mayor. The local GOP rejected his candidacy after the Election Commission initially posted his name. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
It was another rough night for both of LA's NBA teams. The Lakers and Clippers have now lost 3 straight. Somebody named Royce O'Neal hit a three-pointer with 0.9 seconds left in the game to give Phoenix a 113-110 win over the Lakers. O'Neal's game winner ruined a 41-point performance by Luka Doncic. The Clippers had to play Minnesota last night without 2 starters. Kawhi Leonard and John Collins were on the bench with an injury. Minnesota held on for a 94-88 win at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. The Clippers had a horrible night shooting from three-point range. They made only 5 of 22. Grambling State University gave a 2-year contract extension to head football coach Mickey Joseph. The legendary HBCU program was 7-5 last season, the team's best finish since 2017. Joseph is 12-12 in his first 2 seasons at Grambling. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Hi, I'm Tavis Smiley, and I have some news. The room is full. Our founding members cohort on the art of conversation has begun, and I could not be more energized by the professionals who said yes to mastering the craft. Their dedication to curating great conversations reminds me why I do this work. Now, if you wanted to join us and did not make it in time, I want you to hear this. The next cohort is coming. I do not have the firm dates yet, but I do have a waiting list. And everyone on that list will receive early access and special discounts when enrollment opens. After almost 40 years of interviewing world leaders and cultural icons, I am teaching everything I know. Don't miss your chance to be in the next room. Go to TavisTalks.com and get on the waiting list right now. That's TavisTalks.com. The conversation continues. Will you be part of it?
Yeah, man.
Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to me. KBLA, Talk 1580, download the app.
You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm your guest host, Dr. Corte, in for Jesse Jackson Jr. I'm in touch until you be in touch. Be sure to follow me on all the socials at Dr. Nicordelai. Just type in Dr. Niq, DRNIIQ, and there I am, fresh for you to follow. Also, be sure to download the KBLA app to listen to us live or on demand, or you can just tell Alexa to play KBLA Talk 1580 if you're feeling fancy. And there we are for your listening pleasure. Last but not least, be sure to subscribe to the KBLA YouTube channel. That way you get to see us in conversation, not just hear us, but you get to see us in conversation. I am delighted to be filling in for our friend, our brother, Jesse Jackson Jr., as his family mourns the loss of Reverend Jesse L. Jackson Sr. We hope that Jesse Jr. knows and the entire family knows that we are holding them up in prayer, that we're holding them and the Reverend in our hearts. And that's in part what you can expect to experience today here in Los Angeles, later today, at a very special tribute to Reverend Jackson. It'll be all going down at the historic AME Church located at 2270 South Harvard Boulevard here in Los Angeles. We invite you to this historic evening to celebrate the life, the light, the legacy, and the unwavering service of a true American icon. That is the Reverend Jesse L. Jackson Sr. You won't be alone. We'll be in good company with a number of civic leaders, elected officials, faith leaders. The KBLA delegation is going to be rolling in tough, as they say. You can expect Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass and the Honorable Maxine Waters, activist leader Dolores Huerta is going to be there, as well as our very own Tavis Smiley, Dr. Cornell West. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. I'm going to be there. And so I want to look for you. And so come on by the historic First AME Church tonight at 7 p.m. As we remember the life and enduring legacy of Reverend Jesse L. Jackson. Even just as I look at some of the images on the screen, for those of you that are streaming us on YouTube, I think there's just something really remarkable about being able to witness a Black man of meager beginnings who is wielding his power in so many different ways, through his presence, through his work, through his witness. You're looking at photos on your screen of Reverend Jackson with Nelson Mandela. Reverend Jackson as a young man, someone who almost made the NFL, if you didn't know, but chose civil rights instead. What an incredible American story. I think it was Miss Jane Pittman that said, life ain't no crystal stair. I have a feeling that the Reverend Jackson would agree. And so come on out to celebrate this incredible icon, this incredible American hero. All right. When we come forward this hour, I'm really looking forward to being in conversation with Gina Towns. She is the executive producer of the Jesse Jackson Jr. show, among so many other achievements and accolades I could go on and on and on about. It's worth noting that Gina is a proud graduate of Hampton University, and she also earned her master's in theology and social justice at Princeton Theological Seminary. And so I really enjoy talking about news of the day with Gina, but also being able to talk about it through the frame of faith in action. And so you can look forward to that conversation with Gina in short order. And then a little bit later, we'll be joined with Ted Williams. He's an educator, actor, and author who teaches political science at the City Colleges of Chicago. And he's also a graduate of seminary. He went to Northern Seminary. And so while everyone here in LA is in NAACP Image Award mode, we always like to connect the dots between the stories that we tell, the storytellers among us, and faith in action. So that's sort of the theme of this hour. It's faith in action. We know that Reverend Jackson was a powerful demonstration of that. We know that the work of Jesse Jackson Jr. is a powerful demonstration of that. And Gina and Ted have a little something to say about that. You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm your guest host, Dr. Nicordelai Corte. More when we come forward.
It's afternoon drive time with Jesse Jackson Jr. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu, the daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is dedicated to inspiring youth and resilience through storytelling, arts, filmmaking, and enrichment programs for youth and families in under-resourced communities and system-impacted individuals. The Michael's Daughter Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit providing free and low-cost arts programs to youth and families from under-resourced communities, both system-impacted youth and those affected by the incarceration of a loved one. 1 in 43 children in America have a parent incarcerated. 70% of those children are expected to end up in prison. Through filmmaking, animation, theater, and writing, they help young people express themselves, build confidence, and imagine new possibilities. Beyond the arts, they offer financial literacy workshops, emergency support, and scholarships. Because thriving takes more than talent, it takes access. To learn more about the impact of Michael Daughters Foundation and how you can be a part of the movement, please visit their website, michaelsdaughterfoundation.com. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more of Jesse Jackson Jr. on KBLA Talk 1580.
The Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. 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 King Volley, drop the beat. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the me. Come on and talk with me. Come on and listen to the me. KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. I'm Dr. Nicordelai Corte in for Jesse Jackson Jr. And really delighted to welcome Gina Towns. Gina serves as the executive producer of the Jesse Jackson Jr. Show. But that's just one of her many credits. She hosts, of course, the weekly series on the show, Reflectivity. And in this season that we're in our country and in the world, I'm really grateful that you all have carved out a space in this show for folks to be a bit more reflective. We all are having to manage competing priorities, and sometimes it feels like we're all just trying to keep up and keep our head above water. And so, Gina, I want to cede the floor to you to lead us in this weekly series that you have curated just for us.
Well, thank you, NICU. First, I really am just very grateful that you took time out of your schedule amidst your own show daily on KBLA Talk 1580 to fill in for Jesse. And I think really your kind-heartedness really comes through in your spirit as we, reflect on Reverend, and as we kind of just feel for Jesse and his siblings, and most importantly, Mrs. Jackson, Reverend's wife of 64 years. And, the night before Reverend passed, she and I were having a conversation, and she was talking about exactly that. She says, 17 years, and she held her hand out to the side. You know how older people are, and they give you a thumb, and this happened, and the index finger, and this happened, and I did this, and I did that. She understood what it was that her assignment was in this life. And that was to not only have her own opinion, because I really respected this. She didn't always agree with Reverend. She didn't always back the same candidate as Reverend. He gave her the space to be Jacqueline. And she also understood the tree that was in the forest that God gave her shade in, but also gave her the responsibility to pick up the apples and put them in a basket that fell off that apple tree. So she has done an amazing, amazing job for 64 years. She met him when she was 17 years old. And I try to go back and think about, what if I had married the guy I liked when I was 17? That is a long time ago. It is a commitment. And she shared with me as well. And I look forward to having her on the show. We usually have her for her birthday on March 17th. But I look forward to having her so that she can really reflect on what the journey has been like, to be in company with Anwar Sadat, to have audience and to have discussions with Yasser Arafat, to host state dinners in her home, and to watch the evolution of a young man that she met on the college campus of North Carolina A&T, and to hear her tell the story that when she walked by, he started, saying whatever he was saying. And she was like, boy, go on somewhere. And he said, no, I'm going to marry you. And that he did.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That he did. And a very big family. And dare I say, one of the most influential Black political families of our time.
Yeah.
Of our time. I mean, to have multiple sons that serve in the United States House of Representatives. Talk to us about public service, about the work of the Jacksons advancing the public interest. It's one thing for one individual, for one leader to understand their assignment. But what is just so breathtaking to me about the Jackson family is that understanding your assignment almost seems to be mandatory in the family. It's not mandatory that everyone serve in public office, but it almost seems mandatory that everyone find a way to serve.
Yeah, that I think is, that is such an interesting dichotomy of the mind and heart. To be able to understand that we are family, hey yeah, he yeah, he yeah, but to also understand the human family and the family that exists. And Johnny Mack put it very well yesterday on the World House when he said to understand the difference between individualism and personalism. And the personalist looks beyond the individual, and in this case, even beyond the family unit and the well-being of the family unit. We know that the family has to be well for the community to be well, for the city to be well. But in this case, sometimes people have a larger calling, and that's why you have shepherd and you have sheep. So understanding that call. But I will say, and I look forward to when, Ted comes on, having grown up in this particular area and to have iconic leaders. I grew up in Gary, Indiana, where the first Black mayor, Richard Gordon Hatcher, was elected several hours before the mayor in Cleveland. So before any of our brothers and sisters in Cleveland start calling KBLA, we do know that they were elected on the same day, but the election was done first in Gary, and Mayor Stokes was inaugurated first. Nonetheless, Reverend Jesse Jackson and Richard Gordon Hatcher were the best of friends, and so you always saw them together. And then I might add that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad also was in the city of Chicago, and so there was a very strong sense of growing up in a community with leadership that people can never expect perfection from anyone. None of us are perfect. But when you have the type of visionary leadership and leadership that is grounded in building people up to, I am somebody comes from a deep place within Reverend Jackson. And so understanding the mission is a broader sense mission for those of us who grew up around it. I'm on it.
I mean, thank you for painting that picture for us. For those of us that didn't grow up in Chicago, I think what you just shared is a point of distinction. It wasn't just Reverend Jackson, but there were a number of Black leaders that meant something to the people of Chicago, that meant something to Black people and people of conscience across this nation and around the world. What do you say to folks that are a bit surprised at how close Reverend Jackson was with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, with the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, with so many other leaders in the faith community that didn't necessarily hold his faith?
Yeah. The interesting part about that, NICU, is that the human family, and that's what Reverend understood. That's why it's the Rainbow Coalition, red, yellow, black, and white. We're all precious in his sight. And our faith, where there is faith, transcends from Father Abraham across the board. We have taken time on the show to show the different colors of Reverend's rainbow. We had a rabbi on earlier this week. Next week, we will have Jim Zarbi from the Palestinian Institute. Reverend understood that we had to have a world rid of color lines. And an inspiration in that comes from Martin Luther King, which comes from Howard Thurman, which comes from Gandhi, which comes from, Gandhi says, I like your Jesus, I don't necessarily like your Christians. And so the practicality and the practice of, and the process of becoming in that a mindset of that understands and has arms that can stretch around all of humanity and encompass our differences is what Reverend understood. You're muted, NICU.
Earlier, Gina, I mentioned, not just your creative work, but your study of theology. You went to Princeton Seminary. And one of the things I really enjoy about our conversations off air that I want to bring on air is, your ability to just sort of interrogate the news, your ability to
fuss.
That too. But I think you understand this very well. Jesse Jr. understands this very well, and I think Reverend Jackson understood this quite well as Mrs. Jackson. Faith in action. As my grandmother used to say, you got to pray with your hands and pray with your feet. And I really want to create space. While we're in this reflective mode, I want to create space, for you to speak to the people who are feeling a little exhausted right now. They're feeling taxed in terms of putting their faith in action. Just while we've been on the air, ABC News reporting that President Trump says that the U.S. government will immediately cease the use of Anthropic artificial intelligence. Basically, they gave this AI company an ultimatum. And the AI company CEO has made clear that despite threats from the Pentagon, that they refuse to drop their two key demands. Those demands are no use of its artificial intelligence for fully autonomous weapons, meaning AI, not humans, and no mass domestic surveillance. This is a major story. This is a major challenge to the public trust in our government. This is a major challenge in terms of upholding our civil rights and civil liberties, so many of which Reverend Jackson and so many others dedicated their life to. For folks who are reading stories like this, that are disturbed and feeling a bit disoriented by them, being disturbed and disoriented is not at odds with having faith. What do you say to people who are reading this story right now that are losing faith in their government, losing faith that we as a nation will be able to turn the corner from what feels like very dark days?
It does feel very dark. And if you go into any of the comments, even as we remember Reverend Jackson's life, this has been somewhat exhausting for me personally. I was over at Rainbow Push a little bit earlier. This was the first time that I went over. And I have spent a few days reflecting on what I see people saying. I've never seen people being so cold and so dark in their comments when people pass. And I just could not fathom, being that way, but that is the direction. And it seems like every news story comes forward right about now has a level of darkness, and it is discouraging, except, this is why I believe God at this particular point in time allows for a kernel of wheat to fall to the ground and die, because we have an opportunity right now to study the message, and not only the message of Reverend Jackson, but the